at this point in the movie, I'm like, okay, well, here's what you should have done. And I'm thinking...
Yeah, right. It's one of my favorite openings ever.
And I've watched that alternate ending, and it is garbage.
It doesn't go where you think it's going to go.
There's a monster. I'm ready for it to be over.
Well,
But I'm not sure I can even fully explain why I love this movie so much.
I had some issues with this scene.
Oh, my feelings on it have not changed.
I fell asleep until the screaming. This is actually where I started enjoying the movie.
This is one of my favorite scenes in all of cinema.
I thought that should have been cut.
Oh!
Fine.
Well, I'm sure it's artistic and you just don't get it. All right, here we are. Season 2, Fellowship of the Real, 4 Friends of the Movie. This is Season 2. We're recording for Season 2 ahead of time. And we initially had a plan of, we had our movie picked out and we actually recorded it. And then we had the bright idea of, well, this is the second season. Maybe the first 4 movies should be second or at least sequel movies. So the first episode that we recorded is actually probably going to wind up being the 5th. And just like we kicked off season 1 with like a 4-movie Bruce Willis tribute, this is a 4-movie sequel tribute to commemorate what we are calling our second season. And we anticipate it being more than 16 movies. We got a late start last time. And this time, whose pick was this?
This was my pick.
This was James' pick, Terminator 2.
Yeah, my thing was I thought we were going for the sequel is better than the original type of concept. Because I think that the second season of this podcast will be even better, more superior, if you will, to the first. But apparently with some of the other movies we picked, that's not the case.
Well, I am going to not comment at this time until we...
So stay tuned for the other sequel episodes is what I'm saying.
Sure. This is Terminator 2.
Which I think is far superior to the original.
I agree with that. I like it better than the first one.
Now, the original Terminator has a special place in my heart. So while I agree absolutely with that statement in terms of production value, Terminator will always have a place in my heart, and I love both these movies. But Terminator 2, I would argue, is probably, I think, the best one of all of them.
Yeah.
Well, I haven't seen all of them.
Even that latest one, what is it, Genesis? What was it?
Oh, there was one after that, Dark Fate.
Yeah.
Dark Fate.
Where's the one where Arnold has been living there and he's old? And
Dark Fate.
what was the one before that?
Well, he's old in the last 2.
Okay. What's the one before that then?
Genesis is the one where they go back in time. Like you basically get to see Sarah, this Terminator 2 version of Sarah Connor go back to 84 to like help and grab Reese or whatever. So Reese gets to meet did you ever see that one? That doesn't
maybe.
ring a bell. Then you've got to be talking about Dark Fate. You're talking about Reese in a cabin and
Yes.
yeah, and he makes
that was okay.
Yeah, he makes a good. I like it. I have the same problem with Genesis and Dark Fate. They both do horrible things to John Connor in different ways, and those annoy me. In Genesis, spoiler alert, they turn him into a bad guy.
Yeah, I was about to say there's something about,
and then
he's the source of all this. I was like, I don't remember that.
And then in Dark Fate, they kill him.
Yeah,
like after they save the day, they're all like,
Yeah, I think
to be turning 20%, and they, there's another Terminator that was dispatched and kills him, and then just goes off into the sunset, and that's which I like as far as like, all right, you got to have Arnold play Terminator because he is Terminator, but how do you explain the age thing? So I like how both of those explain the age very well.
Yeah.
But fucking the whole thing's about John Connor, saving humanity, right?
Yes.
So you can't turn him into a bad guy. You can't kill him.
I think this series has gone off the rails on more than one occasion, to the point where they have a whole movie now that is like not part of the.
I think you have 4. I think it's split into 4 different, because after Terminator 3, I guess that's 1. Terminator: Rise of the Machines, right?
Yeah.
Which follows off the first 2, but kind of undoes some of it, and then you have the Christian Bale one, Salvation. That's a whole different path, I feel like. And
I would have been
and then the 2 we just talked about, Genesis and then Dark Fate or whatever. So yeah, it's no wonder like these movies, I love Terminator, but they keep failing at the box office because people don't know what the fuck's going on.
What story is this? Yeah, I think so. For me, if I was pressed to the wall, for me, it's Terminator 1 and Terminator 2, and that's it. I don't.
Well, Terminator 1, Michael Biehn.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Terminator and Terminator 2 are these series in my mind. After that, I don't know.
Absolutely.
2 was so exciting. The first time I saw it, I got so nervous
right
watching it. So
I like 3, but 1 and 2 are the superiors.
I was doing the math on this. This was released in 91, 92.
I think it's 91.
I saw this in the theaters. I would have been 8 years old
Wow.
when I saw this.
I don't think I saw it in the theater.
My younger cousin was with us. Younger, he was 7.
Yeah.
wow.
My cousin took us
Yeah.
to this rated R movie, and it
Right.
wasn't 15 minutes in. He had to take my cousin out, so I was there most of the movie.
Yeah.
By
alone.
yourself.
That's cool.
And you were 8, you said?
I was 8, and I loved it. Like,
yeah.
the
Yeah.
level of violence,
Yeah,
it
for
was
sure.
fine with me.
Yeah, I had to have been 9, I guess. Went and saw it with my dad.
That's crazy.
Because yeah, it came out in the summer, and yeah, so that
Yeah,
91.
July
I would
3rd.
have turned 10 in December, so yeah, I had to have been 9. But
July
yeah,
3rd.
even it was July 4th weekend. Nice. Just the beginning, and well, I guess we can get into this, but like the beginning with the flames and stuff, and because I feel like both these movies we're reviewing, like it's older movies, so you have to watch the credits instead of saving the credits for the end or whatever. And yeah, but he has all the flames and all the stuff going on. Like I remember, like every time I fire this movie up and watch that, I remember being in the theater,
Yeah, that's crazy.
just like looking at flames going, and the flames amazed me, let alone with all the shit I was going to see, once the
Yeah.
movie started,
Yeah, well, this
starts out with that prologue, and
Yeah.
you're like, "Oh, happy life, cars, and everything," and then just death
bam.
and destruction.
No, right.
As a
We're
kid,
gonna-
you're like, "What are we watching?"
Right.
Well, this is the second James Cameron sequel that we watched. We watched Aliens.
Yep.
And Chris and I were talking about this before James got here. Cameron has been known to be a bit of a personality problem, a little arrogant maybe, but then you look at, and we're going to talk about this when we get to the section, but freaking Cameron, man. I mean, we'll get into the section in a second about the numbers, but this is the second Cameron movie and the second one that has literally killed it.
But he directed the first Terminator. He didn't direct the first Alien
Correct.
movie.
Yeah.
What did he do with that?
He just took
No, he did
Alien.
Aliens.
Yeah.
The sequels.
Yes.
These are the second sequels. So we did Aliens and we did
Correct.
Terminator 2. So these are the second.
But Cameron both directed Terminator and
Like Terminator's entirely his baby, where Aliens was not.
Had he
Or-
been given this type of budget on Terminator, I'm sure it would have been a
Sure, yeah.
bigger movie.
All right. Anyway, Money Critics fans, here we go. Money Critics fans. All right. We can start off with does anybody have the synopsis or tagline or anything anybody wants to read? I think by this point, everybody knows what Terminator 2 is about. It's a machine.
I don't know, man. That movie 91. That was a while ago. They might not. I'd be surprised.
Yeah, I don't.
Well, I did ask my daughter. She had no idea. She'd never seen this movie. And
How old
she
is she
still
now?
has not.
She's older than Lath.
She's 17.
17.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Does she know who Arnold Schwarzenegger was? I don't know how deep in the weeds you got with her.
Well, she knows Jingle All the Way. We watch that every year.
excellent.
So
so did you pitch it to her? Like, it's Jingle All the Way, but instead of looking for a Turbo Man doll, he's a
protecting
killer
John
robot.
Connor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did she watch it with you or no?
No, she was like, whatever.
No, fuck that. I'm out.
I'm 17. I hate you.
Lath loves this movie, and he still didn't join me because, sometimes they get in these moods, and I'm having to, I guess we're going off the rails a little bit here, but I have to, still have to, get used to that. Like, hey, Lath, I'm watching this movie, and, sometimes he'll join, other times he doesn't. And,
sure.
I die a little bit inside when he doesn't join,
Right.
He'll find it in his own way.
Yeah. All right. So this came out
Do you want me to?
July 3rd, 1991. If you got the, Sherry's got the synopsis.
Do you want me to read it?
Yeah, read it.
In this sequel, set 11 years after the Terminator, young John Connor, played by Edward Furlong, the key to civilization's victory over a future robot uprising is the target of the shape-shifting T-1000, played by Robert Patrick, a Terminator sent from the future to kill him. Another Terminator, the revamped T-800, Arnold Schwarzenegger, has been sent back to protect the boy. As John and his mother, Linda Hamilton, go on the run with the T-800, the boy forms an unexpected bond with the robot.
Yeah, sure. Now, it said 11 years. The kid does not look 11. Is he 11 in this movie? He's not 11.
Yeah, he's supposed to be. How old does he look to you? Older?
Yeah, I don't
Yeah,
know,
he
15.
does look
Edward Furlong, I think, was 12, 13, 14.
Really? Now, his voice does crack it throughout the movie sometimes. So,
Well, I read in the trivia they had to do lots of overdubs because by the time they got done filming everything, you could hear his voice
Yeah.
back and forth. So they just did overdubs.
yeah, I was telling Sherry that he did not do well after this.
Yeah, there's
Personally in his life.
there's a reason he does not play.
Well, he was
John
an
Connor
American-
in the third one or whatever. Like he's old enough. Like that would have been really cool. But
Yeah, probably in
he's-
jail.
He was in
Personally,
American History X, which was great.
Yep.
He was in
Pet Sematary
Pet
2?
Cemetery 2, and then he was in a lot of other stuff. Just
Yeah.
stuff.
Because I thought he did well in this
Hollywood
movie.
Did you say he was in a band, James? Is that what you said?
I don't know.
Oh, I thought you said that. I misunderstood.
No.
Anyway, he went off the rails a little bit himself, I think, personally.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
child actor, right? Celebrity, like that's
Yeah,
always
He just
seems
came
like,
out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Honestly,
I think it says introducing
Yeah, this
Yeah.
is first thing. Yeah,
in the credits. All right, so Muddy Critics fans, that's what we are. Again, now this is the second Cameron film we're doing. We did Aliens.
Correct.
And if you remember the stats from Aliens, they were absolutely skyrocketing through the stratosphere. I pulled this up and I was again blown away. I'm like, you want to hate Cameron for being but the guy can make movies, and his movies have made
could make movies.
okay. Anyway, Tomato Meter, again, this is a little bit unfair, but over the course of its life, these are the consistent scores that this movie, and these are Aliens type numbers. Tomato Meter, 93% of the critics continually rate this movie 3.5 stars or above, and 95% of the fans. So there's like the people who hate this movie, who are they? Because 93 and 95% of the fans and critics rave about this movie. Those are the only two movies that have those numbers that we've reviewed.
Mm-hmm.
We're lucky if they get 70 or 75%. I
Right.
think that's good. Now, you want to talk about, okay, that's people's opinions. Great. The budget of this movie was, what do I have?
Like 100 million.
102 million. Okay, that's a lot of money. It grossed $500 million worldwide and domestic. So domestic, 200 million. Worldwide, 300 million. So even if you're looking at just a domestic, it doubled its money, but over the whole world, $500 million.
Well, it was the first movie over 300 million in the bank,
Yeah.
and it was the opening weekend numbers were right at 32 million, and that was more than Terminator made. The original Terminator made in its entire run in the theaters. So it came out of the gate smoking.
Yeah.
And to your point with the Cameron, this is Cameron at his peak. This is Arnold at his peak.
Yes. I was telling
As opposed
Cherry
to the original Terminator, them both starting
Yeah.
at that point, pretty much.
when we were watching it last night, I remember telling Cherry, I said, this is the baddest, this is Arnold looking the most badass he ever looks. Right. Okay. Arnold is
His most Arnold.
yes, but just badass. Like the shades and the leather and
Yeah.
the twirling of the gun. I mean, he is a straight up gunslinger in this movie. And
Right.
this movie hits on all cylinders, and Arnold is, I think it's one of his best, like if you want to see Arnold as an action star, this is it, man.
Yeah, because he keeps his mouth closed most of the time. And when
Yeah.
it comes out, it's robotic.
Yeah, right. Yeah, so he really wasn't acting. Okay.
Yes, I mean, Arnold grew into being a very, very good actor.
No, I think so.
He blew me away in that the Stallone movie where they're on the
Escape Plan?
escape plan when he was in solitary and he's just yelling
In
in
German.
German. I was like, wow.
Yeah, well, if you want to see a dramatic Arnold, I love it. It's a zombie movie. It's called Maggie, and it is straight up drama. I don't think there's a fight in it, but Arnold plays the grieving father of a girl who has got the zombie virus and is trying to get a cure for her. And it's straight up drama, and he nails it, man.
Yeah, because the twist in that one is it's not fast. It's very, very slow
Yes.
turning to a zombie,
Yes,
right?
it is. It's yes, and he,
So they come to collect her, and he's like, "You're not taking my
right.
daughter." And
yeah. So there's some of that, but it's straight up drama, if I remember, and he nails it as a dramatic part. Maggie,
I still like Kindergarten Cop.
agreed. I was just about to say that Kindergarten Cop. I really like it too.
Who is your
Because
daddy?
he's very Terminator-esque at the beginning, and maybe we'll review this someday. But by the end, he's this teacher or whatever.
yes.
You know,
There are no bathrooms.
goes from being Terminator to Mr. Kimball.
Yeah.
We accidentally found, well, not accidentally, we did, someone told us. We took a tour of Astoria,
Yeah, stories
Oregon.
from Goonies and all that. Yeah.
Yeah, and we went up to look at the Goonies house and drove past. I was like, that looks like
Yeah.
the school.
Yeah.
Nice.
From the Goonies house, you could see the Kindergarten Cop elementary school.
Oh, nice.
It's actually pretty cool.
Yeah.
Okay. Money Craig's fans, anything else about that? This movie blew it away on all cylinders.
I think what I read was Cameron, to do press for this movie, he didn't want to give any scenes away, so they shot separate montage films of Terminators being made and all that, and then Terminator 2, lots of flames, because they want it to be very secretive, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't recall it. I was too young, but
Yeah, I mean, I don't remember, I guess, the reveal, I guess, when I was younger, like we talked about when we saw it in the theater. But yeah, but watching it again and kind of think about it, like, it's my understanding that, because Arnold is a bad Terminator. He's the bad guy in the first one.
Yes.
And he's playing the same version of the Terminator in the second one. Like, I think the reveal that he's the good guy, like, that was supposed to be hidden.
Yeah,
like, going into it, you're not supposed to know that.
Right.
Into the movie. So it's, you know, it's
Well,
pretty
Sherry
cool.
was saying...
So that explains, that makes sense what you're saying, but he doesn't want to give that away.
Yeah, when we're watching it last night and he comes out of the elevator and Sarah sees him and starts to run away, Sherry said, she doesn't know, we're not supposed to know at this point. I said, yeah, the first time you saw this, you were not knowing.
Right.
Anyway.
yeah, it was cleverly what's the word I'm looking for? Hidden. They're in the shopping mall scene, like when they're both converging on him, you're like, oh, he's toast.
There was a...
and that's 30 minutes into the movie.
Right.
I was on Reddit and looking at some movie sites or whatever, and somebody had posted a picture of a clapboard that said like Blue Harvest or Blue Dawn, scene 17, blah, blah, blah. Well, that's Empire Strikes Back or
Jedi. Yeah.
And they did that because they didn't want companies overcharging them for stuff because, hey, well, you're Star Wars, you got billions. Nice. And they didn't want any of the press to know what they were doing. And so they call it, throughout the course of its life, I guess it was called like Blue Harvest.
Yeah, right. Because nobody cares about Blue Harvest. What the hell's that? But Star Wars, oh shit. Yeah.
Right.
People are going to mess up your stuff.
Can I go back to the scene where he comes out of the elevator?
Yeah.
I just remember being so scared at that moment. Can you imagine this nightmare that has chased you for, in the first one, and then the look on her face, I just felt
she
that.
sells it. Yeah, no,
I was like, oh my God.
And at that point, she's dead because she's not getting on the elevator and she's at the end of a dead end hall.
Right.
Yeah, it's movie over if this guy is the bad guy.
I mean, that's like a scene out of a nightmare. I mean, it's a...
Yeah, they slow-mo it and everything. Anyway,
right. I'm sorry.
No, so we done with Money Critics fans. We're good with, it's, like I said, this thing killed it. All right. We're going to move into the mechanics now. Again, we do, for any of those who don't know, we do a breakdown of the movie based on Blake Snyder's Save the Cat beat system. 15 beats. It's a way to look at the movie. And I'm not sure that Cameron used those beats. I think they're all there, but we'll talk about that when we get to it.
I think Terminator predates.
Sure. And there are different systems of structuring a movie. And I think maybe some of that went on. Anyway, so now we're going to talk about the mechanics.
Love it.
Love it. I thought this movie had all the beats. Okay, they're all there. But I think around the third act, they're nested within each other. And we'll get to that when we...
Agreed, yeah. Like, going into it, I'm like, just kind of thinking about it, I've seen it 1,000 times, and was in my head, I was like, all right, this beat is this scene is this beat. And then once I started watching it and doing it, I was like, oh, well, that's shit. No, that's too late, or that's too early, or
now, there is a system called the Writer's Journey system, which has all these same beats, different names. Right. And it's again a fast way to break a story. But in that system, he is infinitely more flexible about the placement of those beats than is Blake Snyder. Blake Snyder says, no, page 15, no, page 10. And that's fine. But the Writer's Journey system says you can put them any way you want, and he calls them different names. And I think you could find all those beats in this. And if you're looking at that system, then the flexibility of those beats is much more understandable and why some of these later elements are placed where they are.
No, and I think Snyder, I guess, makes a good argument for the, being so original on the beats. Like he thinks that, equals a better story and a tighter story. But also I think this whole thing, his audience is screenwriters, right? So he's pitching like, here are the rules, stick to this before you learn how to break them, right? Learn the rules first.
Sure.
So yeah, I think once you're established, you can, like you said, move this stuff around a little bit if you want. But.
So we can get into this. I have, and James had already briefly made allusion to it. The movie does not start off with what I call an opening image. It starts off with what I'm calling, and James, I think, mentioned it, a prologue. right? You have the essentially the aftermath of the rise of the machines, 2029 Los Angeles, it says.
Yeah.
And Sarah Connor's doing a voiceover explaining what's going on.
Yeah, even there, like I would say that just you can see the difference in the budgets.
Sure.
Because like in the first one, it was like a crawl, like with words and stuff on the screen.
Yeah.
Word superimposed, just kind of telling you what's going on. And then this one, like, you have an actor, an actress performing, the voiceover.
Yeah. Two Terminators, 1984. They tried to kill him, she says, and then a second when he was a child.
Yeah. All that voiceover over the future war that we're seeing, which is, again, way more like than we saw in the first one. We just saw little snippets where you can tell the budget. He's able to, see more. We're able to see more of the.
And I wonder if he did that because he wanted to show some of that. Like,
well, we only saw that in the first Terminator through Reese's dream.
Flashbacks. Yeah, so
Yeah,
it was very
so-
limited and
Yeah, this is
an actual scene. Yeah.
yeah.
You see good guys getting killed. You see them taking out Terminators. Like it's cool.
Yes. So we have this prologue, which I do not consider to be an opening image. It does not give us the before.
Yep.
I think it moves into setup before it even gets to the opening image. So right off the bat, I think some of these beats, because typically you would have the opening image, the theme stated, somebody saying something what the argument of this movie is within the first, say, 10 or 15 minutes of the setup. And I think some of that is shifted around. So I have the setup before the opening image. The Terminator arrives. You see the arrival of these Terminators. And I think one of the funnest scenes in the movie, and certainly in cinema, Arnold's procurement of clothes and even to the song of Bad to the Bone. It's just a very slick scene. I love this. I never get tired of this scene. I liken it to, and again, a movie we will eventually review, but probably the best opening of any movie ever is that opening sequence of Big Lebowski where, not on the carpet, man, the whole sequence of, I think it's down there somewhere, let me take a look. That whole opening is brilliant. And this, I think, is equally as brilliant for fun and for ideas of value. And
yeah, I feel like there's, I guess I just, we talked about this before. It happens, I think, every time, even though we've seen these movies 1,000 times, as we watch them kind of with a more critical eye, we notice stuff, right? And one of the things I noticed here is we were talking about a little bit before, a few minutes ago, talking about it, about the reveal of Arnold being good or bad, right? I feel like there's some hints in there, like he was preparing the audience that he is going to be good.
Yeah.
Because also, by this point in Schwarzenegger's career, he's playing good guys. He's not playing bad guys anymore. So I feel like I noticed some hints. The first one my son pointed out, the theme for the music, right? The theme, I always thought they were kind of the same. Maybe it sounded I could tell it sounded a little bit different, but I was like, all right, well, budget. He's got, more stuff to do the song with. My son pointed out that the theme is more heroic than in the second one than it is the first time.
Huh.
So there's a musical cue, right? That it's a little bit different.
Yeah.
And then in the original, when he goes up to the guys, he says, give me your clothes, give me your clothes, give them to me. Right? Here it's, I need, right? There's just subtle differences there, but not give me, but I need your clothes, boots, and motorcycle, right?
Yes.
And then these guys attack him first. The guy blows smoke in his face.
Right.
The guy tries to put a cigarette out on him, or does put it out on him. Where in the original, it's, they have a couple of wisecracks, then he immediately shoves his fist through the guy's.
Yeah, he kills him.
His heart out or
I don't
whatever.
think he kills any of these, right? I mean,
I don't guess he kills them. I mean, they're jerks and they get what they deserve, but it's so just that, and then the playing the bad to the bone, right? Like you don't play bad to the bone on the Terminator from the first one.
No,
like
this is a lighter.
Tone,
No, it's absolute slick and cool, man.
Well, his body count is almost zero throughout the entire movie.
I don't know if he actually kills anybody.
No.
Because he's given the direction. Okay, you can't
later
kill
on
him.
to John,
And body, even with the cops, human casualty 0.0, and
yeah, that's after John tells him that.
No, even before
I had no, he hadn't killed anybody.
The T-1000 kills somebody in the hallway. Well, he kills probably a lot of people, but yeah.
Well, he killed the cop immediately.
Yes.
When he came.
Yeah.
And even that they hide, as far as the reveal, they hide it. Like it looks like maybe he punched him in the stomach. Like you don't see, like we know later on that he had a knife hand, and stabbed him, but we don't see it on screen.
That's true. You don't.
And then he puts on the uniform, so you're like, okay, shit, cop uniform, he's a good guy.
Now there is
Arnold's a bad guy.
There is a little bit of a discrepancy in the story logic here. I don't think takes you out, but okay. So Robert Patrick, right, the actor, obviously we want to see his face.
Yeah.
Now, other times throughout the movie, when he takes over, he impersonates the person, the foster mom, the security guard at the hospital.
Why didn't he impersonate the cop?
Why didn't he? Because we don't want to watch that guy throughout the movie, right? They're paying Robert Patrick for his face, so
it also.
As a matter of fact, whenever the cop drove up, I'm like, "Oh, here comes."
Yeah, I thought, well, that's Robert Patrick,
right?
No, it wasn't.
And then
I
I
was like,
realized,
oh.
wait a minute.
Yeah, so why they didn't just have Robert?
He could have had Robert Patrick be the cop.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, to that, you need a thread throughout the movie of one character you're following.
Yes.
Ideally, he could turn into anybody at any time and just
Right.
jump through the movie, and you would never know who
Right.
the T-1000
Who he
is.
is,
So it had to always go back to Robert Patrick.
Well,
Right.
damn.
The cop
That's his
uniform.
resting face. His
I
resting
never even
identity.
thought about that. Why didn't he impersonate Arnold?
Yeah.
And
Never
I,
thought about that till just now.
Well, because Arnold's
Because Cameron didn't think of it, right? And
Well,
we're
yeah, but-
thinking about it 20 fucking
Well,
years
I
later.
think
But yeah,
I
he
think what
should
it is
totally should have done that.
He has to touch it or something.
well,
Is that
he
what it
definitely
is?
touches Arnold. I mean, they scuffle, but
That's true.
But when would he ever be able to supplant Arnold at that point? Right? When would he?
Like, we're jumping ahead, but like when he takes him out at the end and then he turns into Sarah, call to John now, he totally should turn into Arnold. John, come here. The fucking movie over and humanity's done.
Get over here now.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
fucking,
Yeah.
that's really, I mean, I hadn't thought about it.
I
But
didn't even think of that either. But
maybe Cameron did think of it and couldn't come up with a fucking way out of it.
Yeah, 'cause
So let's not do that.
we were talking about that scene too. Well,
I never thought of it until just now.
but Sherry
James says.
made a good point. I was like, why didn't he just use Sarah's voice? Because Sarah's there, and she would have said, "No, John, but why don't you just kill Sarah instead of torturing her, kill her?" And then so there's a little squishiness. I think.
What does Harrison Ford say? This ain't that kind of movie, kid.
Yeah, if you're asking,
Yeah.
right, and up till trying to analyze it, I never even
Well, yeah. I mean, well, here it is. What? How many times we've seen it, and then it
millions,
occurs
and
to
I
us.
never thought
You know,
about it.
never thought
This is
about it
cool.
till
This is
just now.
cool. So
Yeah.
okay, I had a question. What is his name again? Robert?
Robert Patrick. Yeah.
Yeah. My question to Philip was, in his audition, did he just run? Because that's all we see him running so much.
Well, they say
does
that in
run a
the
lot.
trivia that he had a rigorous running regime, breathing through his nose,
Yeah.
so he could appear more.
Yeah. You don't want to see
And-
Terminator
and-
huffing it. You know?
And when he's chasing the dirt bike up the ramp,
Yeah.
he was catching up to the dirt bike.
Yeah.
They had to cut around him. He was so fast.
Yes, I mean he does. He
And
runs.
his body fat index at this movie is probably like -2. Like, this guy is.
Well, even just his mannerisms when he, not just the running, but just his entire mannerisms,
Yeah.
how he moves is very, very cool. And,
Yeah, no,
no energy
absolutely.
wasted. And
Yes. All right. So we got the setup of the arrival of the Terminators. I think at this point we do get an opening image, 2 opening images, because it's almost you're really following John and Sarah, and they're the ones that I think are subject to change. Arnold, well, we'll get to that because I think we didn't talk about the genre, but I want to call this a buddy love, and it's a 3-hander. I think I forgot to mention that. That's something sometimes we like to do is try to nail what genre we think it is, because there's change, incomplete heroes, but I think all 3 of them undergo a change by the end of this movie.
But it's not a golden fleece.
Well, see, I settled on Buddy Love and I stopped looking, but I figured Chris would have something and you guys would.
Yeah, because I know very limited about it, so I'm
Well,
learning
it's a road
along
movie,
with
so
the audience.
that makes sense.
Yeah, it's a road movie, and there's
Because they're trying to get away or else to Skynet or whatever. Are you looking at
I was looking at Buddy Love. So it's about an incomplete hero who is
Right.
missing something physical, ethical, or spiritual. He needs another to be whole.
Yep.
And then 2, a counterpart who makes that completion come about, or in the case of a 3-hander, story about a triangle, or a 4-hander, story about 2 couples,
Right.
has qualities the hero needs. And then 3, a complication, be it a misunderstanding, personal or ethical viewpoint, epic historical event,
Yeah.
or the prudish disapproval of society.
Yeah. I think an epic event. I think it fits in there because there are changes in each of these characters by the end. Each one of these is not the same as they are in the beginning. And that's where these opening image, I think, are stark contrasts as to where they are at the end.
I think they say that in the dialogue at some point where he says that he learns.
Learning machine. Yeah.
He's a learning machine, so it sets it in there about what the questions that he asks and the mannerisms and the
Yes.
things he takes on. He definitely does change, even though he's a
Yes.
robot.
And I think John changes and definitely Sarah changes.
Yeah.
You see that a lot and I noticed this last time that I watched it. You see John develop into like this misfit kid to a budding leader. Like you can see it in him. You know, mom, we got to be. And
she goes off course and he writes her.
Yeah.
Yes.
He teaches the Terminator, tries to explain to Terminator why you can't just go around killing people.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah. So the opening image for John is this delinquent, parentless, directionless. He's absolute delinquent with no authority figures in his life and doesn't want any.
She's not my mother, Todd.
Yeah, she's psycho. You know?
Everything that he's known and grown up, and they get to it later, you know, running around with, arms dealers and learning Spanish. All of his life that he's been prepping for, when his mom gets arrested, his life is a lie.
Yeah, so it's all a lie. She's a psycho. And
so here he is,
your mom's
super,
psycho, didn't you know?
Yeah.
super talented kid, super smart,
Sure.
living in a world where he's just an orphan.
Yeah, subject to no authority. Now, Sarah is, just as he's parentless, Sarah is childless. She's naked without me, so a parent without a child. But she's very determined but detained and thought delusional. So this is her resting state in the beginning.
Yeah.
Just buried deep, never getting out, determined, but full of anxiety and anguish about what she knows is coming.
Yeah, I guess I just looked at it from John's point of view because I had it as like dude with a problem.
Yeah.
And I thought about Golden Fleece, like you're saying. And just, I guess, dude with the problem is an innocent hero who was dragged into the mess without asking for it or even aware of how he got involved.
Yeah.
A sudden event that thrust our innocent into the world of hurt and is definite and comes without warning. A life or death battle is at stake, and the continued existence of an individual, family, group, or society is in question.
Yeah, see, all that's solid, and that's if and if you really look at it, I mean, so you're thinking this is John Connor's story.
Yeah.
And I think largely that's true.
I felt like that was maybe the easiest and because you are right, they all three change.
Yes, and there's real emotional attachment by the end. Like at some point, and we'll get to it, but at some point Sarah says he'll never leave him, never.
Yeah. Out of all the would-be fathers that came and gone, he's the best. He's the sanest choice. In an insane world, he's the sanest choice.
Yes, and over there they're horsing around and the family unit, right? I mean,
right.
And
never
of course,
get drunk and hit him or yell at him. He'll never say he's too busy to spend time with him. Yeah.
And as I want to say cheesy, but it's by the end of this movie, I'm still emotionally hooked. Even the last night's
thumbs up, man.
The cheese works. Anyway, all right. So I think if you're looking at it from John's story, and usually you need to focus on one character, and I think it's John. So I think you're right. Mm-hmm. But I think all three of these characters go through an arc. Now I'm calling this the opening image because you see John and Sarah. Then I call it.
So when he's in the garage revving the bike or whatever, and she's trying to get his attention, that's your opening image.
Yes, the whole delinquency.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Just living.
And she's not my
mother.
Not my dad. Yeah. Right. Yeah. Yes. Now then I say we move into what I call setup 2 because you have the T2. I call them T1 and T2, but it's T1000 and the T800. Yeah. So the T1000 is hunting John, and at this point, early on in the story, the T800 Arnold is one step ahead of him for now because he's already been to the house.
Yeah,
and so is a little bit ahead.
It's like just like 2 lines maybe, and you could miss it. Like 2 lines and a look, but I really like it. Like I like again kind of the misdirect. He comes up and he's. Instead of your clothes, your boots, and motorcycle, give them to me.
Yeah.
The fucking T1000 is all good morning and polite, and he's all like completely off-putting. It's like this guy can't be the bad guy. This guy be the good guy, right?
Right. No,
and then they're like, hey, there's another guy looking for him too. Yeah, big guy on a bike, and then you see on his Robert Patrick Sells, you see the look on his face.
Yes.
Yeah, I wouldn't worry about him. Like, it's really cool.
I really like Patrick in this movie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like him. Period. He's been in a lot of stuff, and he's really good. I like him a lot.
Absolutely. John living off so this is still what I'm calling the setup 2 because so far I have a setup, an opening image, and then more setup, and I think that's going to be a trend throughout this movie that the beats, but like we already talked about, I think are rearranged a little bit. John living off his wits, short-term goals, thinks his mom is psycho. Sarah is analyzed. She needs to escape, tries using her wits. She tries to outsmart the doctor here. I think his whole motivation is I can write a book on this. I'm not letting her go ever.
He says it in the first one. The same actor and everything, right? That same psychiatrist. He goes when they get Reese when they have them in the police station, and he interviews Reese, and Reese is just like honest with him and tells him, and he's making fun of laser guns, and he's like, I could make a career off of this.
Yes.
And then I like how in 2 he fucking has.
Yes, I think so. So she's not, and so she at this point
If he's crazy, technically he's a loon.
right. So I think that she is trying. Now, does she intend to escape if she goes to minimum security? Absolutely. Okay, but she is right. But he's never going to let her go. And I think at that point she realizes it.
That's his meal ticket, man.
Right.
Plus he doesn't believe it, right? So
Yes. Held against her will, desperate. Now, we also get some setup at this point about Dyson at Skynet, reverse engineering and researching what we find out is the arm and the computer chip from
the first one.
the first one.
I like how tight that seed was, introducing him, letting you know he has a family and kids.
Yep.
What he's working on, how advanced they are, and then boom, they're out.
No, absolutely.
Like that is a tight little introduction scene for him.
Yes, the whole sequence of all that we just talked about up to this point, because I think we're about to get into the catalyst. But now we know all the major players, all what they're doing, and it's, I think it is, like James said, very tight, very compact, and it just moves.
And he doesn't know he's a bad guy. He's
Right.
just a guy.
Right.
You know, they I asked him one time, you know what they told me? Don't ask.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like, so he's just a cog in the wheel, but
he's-
he's
Man,
responsible.
advancing technology with no idea of where.
Well, he's thrilled. It gave us things we never thought of. Like even at the end, he's still excited, and then he has to check himself.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. No, when Alexa kills us, the guy that invented that is like Dyson now. Like he thinks it's great.
It's the greatest thing ever.
So what you're saying about the tightness of the scene? What you're saying is writers of Fred Claus fucking take note. Is that what
Yeah.
you're saying?
Well,
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
We're doing that, are we? All right.
Fred Claus writers, be on watch.
Gotcha.
I couldn't help it.
Because this movie is longer than Fred Claus
It is.
by half an hour. This is like a 2.5 hour movie,
Yeah.
which I was.
But it's so tight.
No, it
Every
is.
little thing. There's no fat on this.
No. Even the prolonged action sequences, ideas of value every 5 seconds. I really, we'll get into that. All right, so that's what I have as the setup and the opening image. We've established our characters and sort of the world. Anything else at this point? Okay.
No.
I have the catalyst. Okay, so John is at the mall and his friend has told him a cop is looking for you. So he's now escaping, thinking, the cops are after me for which crime, right?
Yeah,
'Cause at
who
this-
knows what?
Yeah.
That kid instinctually lied to the cop.
Yeah,
he could
yeah.
have saved the world.
That's right. Yeah.
Nah, man, I don't know who that is.
I don't know who that is. Yeah. Yes. So the
That's a good buddy, man.
Exactly.
No, it
Yeah,
is.
he lied to the cop and then immediately, hey, John, there's cops, scoping for you. Check it out.
Yeah.
Go on,
And then
man.
he
Beat
tried
it.
to get in the way. Oh,
did.
man. I tried to
Yeah,
get in
No,
the way.
I think I saw that kid. Bam! He just knocks the shit out of him almost. So the catalyst I'm having as the T1000 and the T800 meet in the hallway, and
Yeah.
John is caught in the crossfire.
And that's the reveal. That's the reveal where the T800 is the good guy,
Yes.
the Guns N' Roses.
Right. No, that's perfect. Yeah. Because, I didn't even think
It's
about
in-
that.
it's in the
song.
music video.
Yeah, I
Yes.
didn't even think about it.
It's in the music video. I
That's
remember that.
awesome. Yeah, because they're playing Guns N' Roses.
Because he had the gun somehow. So I was like, yeah, box of roses, why not? But yeah, didn't even think about gun.
That is
Very
brilliant.
nice.
You Could
Very
Be
nice.
Mine. That's the name of the song.
Yeah, no, that's a great song.
Wow.
Appetite for Destruction is still one of the greatest
Yeah.
rock albums ever. I mean, that album is solid top to bottom. Anyway, so this is what I'm calling the catalyst. Now, we all agree on that. I mean, this
Yeah.
is,
This is where.
Yeah, no,
fate's
John's
converged.
minding his own fucking business at this point, and then all of a sudden,
Yeah.
and thinks his mom's a psycho, and he doesn't even believe the Terminator
Right.
stuff anymore.
yes, he is
yeah.
quickly going to go to school on that.
Right.
Now there is, I think there is some debate though. There is a debate section, because John sees this. Now, obviously, he's going to run because bullets are flying.
Yeah.
but-
Get down.
Yeah, but he doesn't think, oh, my mom was right. This Terminator, I need to stay with. He takes off. So I think
Yeah, even though Terminator grabs him and shields him, he's
Yeah.
still like, fuck this,
I'm out of here.
Yeah.
So his debate about accepting or not accepting this situation. Now, it's fight or flight. I understand. But it begins here where he is just in denial. I'm out of here. No, this is not happening. I'm gone.
Agreed, yeah.
But he acts. I think his training beforehand with his mother, because he doesn't act like a normal 10-year-old in that situation.
Right.
He acts like a full-blown adult, fight or flight, get me out of here, there's bullets flying. A normal 10-year-old I would pee my pants
Sure.
and lay down.
And that's, I think that
Right.
that goes to what I was talking about earlier, because this is 11 years later, which means John can't be any more than 11.
Right.
But we need to keep it.
I think the year is off, though. I think it was made in, 91? But I don't think it's 91 in movie time. Actually,
Well, yeah, I know, but
I think it's
but
it goes from 84 to
It just shows 10 years have passed. So
yeah, but,
Oh,
but
that'd
if
be-
if
that'd be
she
94
or
then.
10.
Okay,
if
yeah.
Sarah slept with
Reese.
Reese.
Yeah. No, I was just saying, like,
and now it's
not actually 91, but it doesn't matter. It's,
We know how kids are made.
yeah.
right? Oh, wait, let's get into that. How does that work?
Well, I got a sound effect for that.
I'm sure you do.
Okay, anyway.
It doesn't matter. Yeah.
Yeah,
90,
so-
95, 96.
But he's not your typical 10 or 11-year-old, to James's point.
Right.
Yeah, he's had training. Yeah.
Yes, he is an 11-year-old, probably with the mindset of a 35-year-old because of everything his
Yeah.
crazy wacko mother has put him through
Right.
that he thought was a lie. Now, when he does, so they're riding on the bike, but he does demand to get off the bike and continue what I think is some of this debate.
Yeah, after
You
the
just
big
skipped,
chase.
like a huge action scene. Are we not talking about that?
Yeah, no, sure.
Yeah.
But he rides with he wanted. Okay, we'll get into this thing. Off the bike, comes to terms, try to get a grip and figure. So you can see him scrambling mentally.
His dialogue cue to me was like the debate. Okay, time out, stop the
Yeah,
bike.
absolutely, yes,
And then they talk about it. Yeah.
yes.
Which even then, like I think both these movies do this very well. But that we're going to review. But hiding the Pope in the pool, hiding the exposition, like, and I think Cameron's really good at this. I think he did it well in the first Terminator.
Yeah.
When Reese and Sarah are, in a chase scene, he's explaining everything. He's yelling at her, explaining everything what's going on.
Yeah.
They do it here too, right? Because it's why he's trying to, and it's a little bit fun because the audience, if you've seen the first one, you already kind of know what a Terminator is. John does not.
Yes.
So as he's realizing, you're really real, and Terminator, like he's poking him in the face,
Yeah,
and and poking, like it's fun.
Yeah. No, he is definitely debating about whether he just, slipped into La La Land or this is real.
Right.
Um,
Get a grip, John.
yeah. The Stone Cold delivery on the phone. How's Wolfie? Your foster parents are dead.
Your foster parents are dead. Right.
Now Sarah gets her own.
John and are dicks, but we got to warn them.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Sarah gets her own catalyst. We know who this guy is. She sees that the Terminator has arrived.
Right.
And so she gets her own. And now there's no debate with Sarah. At that point, she knows. And
Well, that's the cool thing. You skipped it a little bit. When the foster parents are dead, and he's saying, "We got to go get my mother.
Yes.
we got to go get her out." I thought, man, as a 10-year-old, how cool would that be if you had your own Terminator that
Sure.
could do
Well,
whatever you wanted to
yeah,
do?
and I think he comes to some of that conclusion.
Yeah, I've got you. We know you're real. Let's go get my mother.
Yeah, right.
Right. Yeah.
Cool, my own Terminator. Right.
And that's not a priority tactically, it is not a priority. And even Sarah says that, I can take care of myself,
Right. Yeah, you were stupid coming from me or whatever. But yeah, she's not a mission priority. Well, fuck you. She's a priority to me.
Yeah, right. Because now everything she said is true.
Yeah.
Now I can love my mother and not think she's some kind of crazy.
Right.
Because his immediate reaction is, "Oh, my mother. Now we're reunited," and she. Is not
like he doesn't even
lovey-dovey.
care that she's in a fucking psych ward. No. Now it's let me go break her out of that psych
Right,
ward.
and she does not reciprocate to his sorrow immediately or whatever. Yeah, so that's her own. No debate. Knows exactly what she needs to do.
Yeah.
John accepts the truth, learns the rules of owning a T1, and sets some rules himself. So, so he now sets these rules about you can't kill people because of the two douchebags. Help because he doesn't want. He wants to go get his mother, and the T1 doesn't. T800 doesn't, and grabs him. Hey, let me go, man! And
then
draws
let's
these
go, and he
two
falls
poor
on his
guys.
ass.
I mean, they probably are douchebags, but they didn't deserve.
Right. They were trying to help a kid.
Yeah, help a kid, man. And so that was a little bit of a dick move on his part. But Arnold T800 goes to kill the guy and stops him and sets some rules. No, you can't kill anybody.
Right. Well, they also discuss like once he learns, your foster parents did. He explains that that he copied them and imitated them that the T1000 did.
Yeah.
And explain what is he, so he could describe himself or disguise himself as a pack of cigarettes. No, only objects of equal size.
Right. Yeah. We have to learn the rules of
the
this
rules of
world.
the world.
And I think it's hidden well. I think it's good.
Mm-hmm.
It is. And then I just not thought about it. I wonder if even like we were talking about earlier, Schwarzenegger's like robot delivery. I wonder if that kind of helps sell it.
Oh, I think it does.
Bit.
Yeah.
That it's not just two people talking. It's, he's getting half the information from a robot.
Yes.
Right.
No, you have to learn the rules of. Yeah, absolutely.
Because he wants to go back home too, or whatever, to his foster home, or we got to warn him or whatever. And negative, the T1000 would definitely try to reacquire you there.
I would. Yeah.
I would.
Yeah. No, it's great.
Also, clever writing on turning everything on its head. because that's now the Terminator. That's the way if you've seen the first one, that's how he operates. Now he's operating, saving John from committing those
Get out of
mistakes.
the city, get out of the normal places you are.
Yeah.
Yes. I have the break into 2 here. Orders the T-800 to join him in the second act. So they get on the bike and they ride off to.
Agreed. That's my break into as well.
Yep.
Yes.
Then I had him just joining Arnold or whatever, and then I realized no, that's all debate and catalyst, and because it's the big moment is going. Yeah.
Because even
I order you to go. Yeah. We're gonna. Yeah, you're gonna save my mom or whatever, and I order you to help me.
Yes, because even with the two douchebags or whatever, he's still at that point he's trying to get away. Get off me! Get away from me! I'm being kidnapped. At that point he wants to get away. Still in some kind of debate phase. Hasn't accepted.
You jock douchebag.
Yeah.
Grab this guy, will you? Yeah.
Yeah, I was.
I'm with you. I feel sorry for those guys too.
Yeah, that was
like even the buddy, like when he goes beat it or whatever. When they come over there, and he's like, "Man, I told you." Like the buddy's like didn't want to help at all the whole time.
No. All right, so fun and games now. Sarah makes a break. T2 gets to the hospital. T1000 gets to the hospital. T800 gets to the hospital. Sarah meets T1 and T2. And then this callback, come with me if you want to. I've gone through that quickly, but that's those initial funny. Now, I guess we didn't talk about the chase through the reservoir prior to this. That
was on the motorcycle. And
it was just cool. I just
it's absolutely slick. I mean,
like you said, you had mentioned to him twirling the shotgun with one hand, like reloading it or whatever, and shooting the fence. Every time it's in his way.
Arnold
shooting it. The T1000 in the truck, the
iconic part where Edward Furlong, stops the bike and looks back over his shoulder, and then boom,
comes over the bridge,
over the bridge.
The ideas of value are absolutely stellar in each of these set pieces, I think.
Because Arnold's. Go ahead, sure.
No, I was going to say he may not have killed anyone, but he sure did cause a lot of property damage.
Yeah. No, my God.
Because he pulls out when the chase first starts. He pulls out, and then there's this huge fucking pileup behind him or whatever. He cuts people off.
Oh my God.
So we don't know that he didn't kill somebody. Maybe somebody might have died in that crash.
Sure.
But nobody got hurt, and a lot of people.
There are several prolonged set pieces in this movie.
Why do you call them prolonged?
Well, I think we could get to it. I think the last third of the movie is a freaking set piece. Almost.
That's your breaking 3, sir. That's your third act.
Absolutely. Breaking into orders.
So they're long, but not like they work to you.
Absolutely.
They're not
ideas of value throughout. Yes. Okay. 100%. No fat in this movie, like James said. Fun and games. We went through the fun and games. The B story.
I had one more thing to say about the.
Okay, go ahead.
The tunnel chase or whatever.
Yeah.
I guess 2 more things. Like Arnold's elevated and he has to get down there. So there's a scene where he makes the jump on the bike that would probably blow the tires and all that stuff. But whatever. God. But it works. He gets down there.
Yeah.
And to me, like it's one of those things you're talking about when we saw it as a kid. Just I don't know. I remember because by this point you're on board. Arnold's a fucking good guy.
Yeah.
He's not just Commando. He's fucking Terminator. You know.
Bad as hell, yeah.
When he's trying to get around because the T-100 is chasing in the truck, chasing John, and Arnold's behind him, and he's trying to go around the 18-wheeler, and he can't because the T-1000 keeps swerving.
Yes.
I don't know. Just I remember like I said, every time I see it, it flashes me back to when I was a kid. The joy I felt when he finally gets around it.
Sure, yeah.
The music kicks in, and that's that hero theme coming in, and then he grabs John off the bike.
Oh yeah, no,
it just lifts him.
Yeah, lifts him. Right, hand, right.
Yes,
right. And then John's bike goes underneath the truck, showing you, in case you hadn't figured it out, this is what the fuck was about to happen.
Right.
Smushed Connor all over the cement. You know?
Right. For the B story, I have a question mark. The T1. I think the T1 is the instrument of change, both for John and to some degree Sarah. But I think they change each other. Do you have a B story?
B story, yeah.
The mentor, the change character, because it almost has to be the T800, right? I mean,
yeah.
Even though they change him because he's learning.
Right, because back to the buddy love type thing, because they do have like a buddy love type relationship.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they bond or whatever.
But even in a dude with a problem, the B story, there's got to be
there's always a B story, yeah.
Yeah, so I think it's probably the T1, T800, whatever. Because I have buddy love triangle 3-hander is what I wrote down there. But I think dude with a problem, if you're focusing on the main character of John, you're right. They're healing up. So then there's a scene after.
I don't know. John's almost a flat arc in a way. I mean, like he goes from.
Yeah.
I mean, it's sort of because he goes from being, this lost, delinquent, right, to, like you said, becoming a leader. But like those those are there. Those were always hidden.
Yes.
Like the message, like he tells Arnold very early on, you can't go around killing people. And then, so he already knows that well before Sarah goes off the rails and tries to kill Dyson.
Yes. So he
changes them, right? So he's their B story in a way, both Sarah and Arnold.
Yeah. Yes,
You know what I
because
mean?
he does change Arnold.
Yeah.
And Sarah.
And shows the mom, because mom's like, that was stupid of you to come to me or come and try to save me.
Yeah.
He knows the value of human life already. They
yeah.
don't.
So I think, to your point, if it's a flat arc, he was who he was and sort of got away from that because he thought it was deception and returns to who he was.
Correct.
Yeah. So that could be a flat arc. Now, can you be the B story and the main character though, right? I mean,
Yeah, because in a flat arc,
he changed the world around.
change the
him.
world around you.
Yeah,
correct.
yeah, that's true. That's right. Yeah.
Everybody else is the B story.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. So he changes the world.
I mean, you can have a central B story person, but like you change the world around you.
but you're absolutely right. What you said, a flat arc character changes the world around him,
Right.
doesn't change himself, right?
Like
Okay.
Ted Lasso. Ted Lasso is who he is, and he changes everyone else around.
Right. Okay. All right. Very true. There's a scene of healing up, learning about each other. Here is where I think. So we're late on the theme stated, but I think there is one.
Yeah.
And again, I think these beats are there, but they're shifted. Arnold T-800 says something, and then of course Sarah says. So I'm having sort of this is the theme stated. We're because John says to the T-800, "We're not going to make it, are we?" And
When he sees the two kids with
yes,
guns,
I mean,
handguns shooting each
people,
other.
right? We're not going to make it. And then the T-800 says it's in your nature to destroy yourselves, which I think is probably some of the thematic argument of this movie. But I think Sarah nails it more because I think the movie goes from no fate, which she carves into the table, to no fate but what we make, right? So it's the idea that this is going to happen. By the end of the movie, it's open-ended now. Fate to no fate but what we make.
Yeah. Okay.
Is what I'm nailing is sort of the theme here. Is it in our nature to destroy ourselves, and is that really our ultimate fate, or can we? Because she says if a machine can learn
The value of human life,
value of
maybe
human
we
life,
can too.
Maybe we can too. So that's what I'm picking as the theme.
Can't go around killing people. Why?
Yeah, well, I have a list.
Because you just can't. Why?
Yeah, I love that.
You're gonna kill that guy. Of course, I'm a Terminator.
Okay, yeah, no, All right. I just love that
As
stuff.
we were.
All right, so I guess more also sort of under the fun and games, we learn our future history. 2:14 p.m. August 29th, Skynet becomes self-aware is what I wrote down. They get to Enrique's, and T-800 is Uncle Bob. They start to bond. Now, in any time travel movie, this is almost like a trope, right? Some character will look at another character because Sherry hates time travel movies because it does screw around. You start thinking of the logic and you get into this spiral of confusion. And so almost invariably in some time travel movie, you'll have one character turn to another character and say, don't even try thinking about it, man. It's time. Trying to sort of say, yeah, we know this is going to mess with your head. Just let it go. John says the time when they're bonding, he says the whole thing messes with your head. In terms of the...
Yeah, he's talking about sending his dad back or whatever.
My dad back, and he
I
hasn't
think
been
I'm
born
like
yet.
45 and someone dead and I hadn't been born yet. Yeah.
It messes with your head. And that's the allude. That's the...
Because Reese didn't know that he was his dad.
Okay, yeah, all right. Yeah. So at some point, there is this statement, and I thought, yeah, well, there it is. And that alleviates the audience from having to be like, oh my God, what the logic of it.
So I do have a stupid question pertaining to that.
Sure.
So do they change the future then?
They think
You
they have.
ignore all the sequels, yeah.
Well, that's what I haven't seen the sequels except for the last one.
Well, they do at the end of this movie. I have a question though. At the end of this movie, essentially they have.
Or is it like Final Destination where you think you did something,
the whole thing messes with your
and
head.
it's only going to catch up with you later?
I think they have changed the future by the end of this movie. Sarah believes it. Now, I think there's a problem, and this is a good point as any. When they're in the steel factory and Arnold gets his arm cut off,
Yeah, they leave it.
they leave it.
Yeah.
And now I'm thinking,
You went through all this self-sacrifice. It's the same arm. You can pull it's smashed up more, but you can pull the arm just like you did before.
yeah. So I question that, and I'm hoping that
It's called revenue stream, sir. Cameron knew what he was doing.
okay,
No, I'm just playing. No, I've
So it does
I've had the
pertain-
same thought before.
yeah.
Is that how
that never comes up.
It never comes up
anywhere.
again.
Okay.
And that's the problem.
In
I'm willing to let
Terminator
it go, but-
in 3 Rise of the Machines, actually one of the things I really like about it is we're kind of talking about John being raised as this great military leader, as he says in the movie, right? And all these skills and stuff. Well, after 2, if they stop everything, then he almost has no purpose. He doesn't know what he's supposed to do with his life.
Yes.
Right. And then he even loses his mom, like Sarah dies, has cancer or something.
Yeah.
So I like where that picks up. Like that's his opening image is he's this loser who does now he's
Wait, in 3?
yeah, he's a loser and doesn't know what to fucking do with his life because he was always told he would save humanity and stop Judgment Day. And then that never happened because of the events from 2.
Sure.
And then eventually Arnold shows up and he tells him that, Judgment Day is inevitable. You just postponed it or whatever.
Okay. Well, yeah, because we need to make...
I don't know. If you're going to make a sequel from 2, I felt like that was an interesting, as far as the writers, like I really like, that's an interesting way to go.
All right.
But yeah, I mean, you got to have sequels, you got to come up with something. And yeah, it's amazing to me that no one ever used that arm that was in there.
Anyway.
I mean, because am I not wrong? You just said that earlier. The chip and the
arm and chip
arm
is there.
is from
The chip's gone.
from Arnold.
Oh, the chip is in his head. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, the arm is from when he got squished in the masher that Sarah let him into.
Terminator
From the
fucker.
first movie.
Yeah.
Okay. Because the guy said, well, I didn't ask where, or he asked where it came from and he was told no.
Yeah. Right.
You don't need to know things or something. Okay.
Yeah. So at this point, I think they're bonding. Time travel messes with your head. They act as agents of change on each other. Sarah describes the T1 as the perfect father. We sort of talked about that. Carves no fate into the desk, into the picnic table. You see these scenes of family and love, and these familial scenes of family and love and children as the Enrique is playing with his kids and everything. You can see it just makes her sad and tired because she knows, okay, love your kids, but you're all gonna die. We're all
Right.
because there's no fate. This is
Yeah, it's interesting to me that like she yeah, I don't know. I guess because Reese was after all of it, but like just like she's more worn down and more, like I said, doesn't have fate and what kind of what's going on and knows that she needs to stop this or whatever, right? Where Reese wasn't that worn down to me. He was, but he wasn't. Yeah, and I guess it's just different. It's interesting to me because she loses her way, right?
Yes.
Where Reese never did. It's I don't know.
Well, Reese was focused as a soldier fighting these things,
Yeah,
whereas she can only see.
he was after. He didn't see it.
Well,
He grew up in the
yes, and she knows that for that to happen, billions need to die.
yeah, and that sucks. Yeah.
and
Yeah. She has that weight where he doesn't. Yeah, 'cause
Right.
it was all after.
She has this dream sequence. She sees almost a vision of herself playing with kids on the playground, and in my mind, she's thinking, "This would have been my life
Yeah.
had."
Yeah, because she's wearing the same like waitress
Hairstyle and waitress.
Yeah, from the
And
first one.
and
Yeah.
she's basically the innocent playing with her kids, and
Right.
doesn't look like because she is lean and cut.
Yeah. Big transformation. Yeah.
Seeing what she could have become had none of this happened,
Mm-hmm.
and it's herself. So she and you can't hear, but you can see her mouth the words "wake up, wake up."
Yeah.
She's sleeping, but she's telling herself in that scene to wake up. Like,
Yeah.
you people are walking through a world that is burning, and you don't even know it. You need to be,
Yeah, in the director's cut, there's more, deleted scenes or whatever. There's a scene with Michael Biehn where he appears to her.
Oh,
or
really?
whatever. Yeah, and says, "We're running out of time, Sarah," and all this when she's in the psych ward.
Oh, that's cool.
And
All
she
right.
tries to run to him and stuff, and he disappears. But he's got the same stuff, clothes that he had on from the first one. So it's kind of cool.
All right.
I mean, obviously they felt like you don't need it, but
You're right. No,
Michael Biehn fans, it's cool.
Well, I saw that it was 2.5 hours, and I intentionally selected the theatrical version. I'm like, I can't watch a 4-hour. I didn't know how long it was, but like, I did not select the extended
I
cut.
think it's 4 hours. It's not a Costner film, man.
Right.
Well, that scene where the bomb goes off, I guess that's supposed to be Los Angeles. I don't know.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
But that was awesome. That was
yeah.
scary when I was a kid. I remember
Oh, yeah,
watching that.
yeah.
Like, oh my God.
No, it's
Looked like
absolute-
real nuclear footage.
Yeah. No, it's
yeah.
very well done. There's not a bad effect in this movie, and a lot of these are still practical effects, right? I don't think there's not much CGI being used at this point, right? A lot of these,
Yeah, other than the T-1000 guy, yeah, I think everything else
Yeah.
is fairly practical.
Okay. So she wakes up, and then she rides off to Dyson, John and the T800 Pursuit. She's at this point has had enough. She's going off and she is going to whack Dyson and take care of this.
She's gonna blow him away.
Yeah, right. So what I'm calling to the midpoint. So I have a midpoint false victory.
Mm-hmm.
Sarah gets to Dyson and has her shot. I say she gets everything she thinks she wants, but she can't kill the last of, I'm calling it, she can't kill the last of herself to do it. It's like the reason she doesn't pull the trigger is because she's going to kill somebody.
Right. You can't just go around killing people.
Right. And the kid is there and all. So she gets everything she wants. She's this will stop it. False victory. But she can't do it.
Yeah.
Now maybe that's a defeat, but I think she gets there and is initially trying to kill him.
Right.
So it's everything she's been living for her whole life. Now I can do it.
Yeah.
I'm calling it a false victory. Is that what you have? Or do you have something else?
No, that's what I had.
John and T1 arrive. Sarah confesses. So at this point, I think to your point, John steps up as sort of the leader because she's having an emotional breakdown right now where she can't kill the last of humanity to do this. And she even says, I almost killed that father and his kid,
Yeah.
And John steps up to comfort her. And at this point, I think he gets what he's been looking for, the love of his mother. I love you, John. And
yeah, because she finally realizes, you came to stop me. So you aren't just this kid that's not listening to anything I'm saying.
Right.
You are listening, and now you're showing me. You knew it was right, and I didn't.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
And she's very Terminator-esque, when she's storming the house.
Yeah, yeah. And John has sort of to rein her in later.
Right.
Mom, a little more constructive. Right. Dyson gets a revelation. They break the news to Dyson. So at this point, I'm calling it a false victory, midpoint. Now, here's where I think we have all the beats, but they're nested within each other because I have an immediate break into 3 at this point.
That's what I was thinking. I thought the break into 3 was literally them walking across the parking lot with the bags of guns. I'm like, they're marching into.
Yeah, I didn't think that initially, but yes, on once going back and looking at it, because I had it later. But yeah, I agree. That's their break into 3.
So you have this break into 3, okay, and then if you're breaking into 3, you're looking for your high tower surprise, you're looking for your storm in the castle, and all that I think is happening here, and then you have a bad guys close in, all is lost, and a dark night.
Yeah, no, sorry, I lied. I knew it didn't sound right. I had midpoint false victory, saving Sarah, getting her out from because the T-1000 was there.
Out of the hospital?
Yeah, out of the hospital, yeah.
Because
then everything else is bad guys. It's bad guys close in after that, right? Her losing her way, going after Dyson.
Yes, yes, I understand. That makes sense.
It's too early?
Way early. Because I think this midpoint is right at the hour 5 minute mark of a 2.5 hour movie.
With Dyson that's the midpoint?
Yes, she gets to Dyson, gets everything she thinks she wants. The kill shot on Dyson.
No, and that rings true.
And that's right at about an hour or so, if you're talking about the midpoint of the movie. And so I thought, okay, but then they're breaking into 3. Got to.
Yeah, no, I guess I'm confused on my stuff now. Because I do feel like them going after Cyberdyne is the break into 3. But at one point I had it, all right, the SWAT closes in on them, fucking T-1000 shows up. It felt like bad guys close in.
It is. It breaks into 3, and then you get your bad guys all is lost in Dark Knight, which should have happened before you break into 3, according to Catboy.
Right.
That's where I thought, okay, because I wrote that down. I'm like, okay, this is going to be one of those movies where the whole third of the movie is the third act, but we don't get.
Right.
And I thought, well, it's an action movie. Okay, I guess I get that. But then I was like, wait a minute. No. It's nested within the third act rather than coming before the third act, in my opinion.
Yeah, because it even feels like a storming of the castle.
It is. Cyberdyne has to be the castle.
Right.
Has to be.
Yeah, that's where
if they destroy all that, then they're golden.
That's where the stuff is. That's where John gets to use his card technique, where he gets to break into
stuff. There's tons of. I hadn't said that very much. Tons of setup and payoff.
Payoffs, yes.
The easy money, and then teaching Arnold all the lingo of the day. The '90s lingo, so that he can then say it later on.
Yes, absolutely.
Just stupid stuff like when he fixes the truck.
No problemo.
No problemo. Yeah.
So the break into 3, going to Cyberdyne, storming the castle, assembling the team, Sarah, John, the T1, and Dyson as they're approaching the security desk. There's your team. There's the castle. Mm-hmm. So they assembled the team, and now they're storming the castle. Your high tower surprise locked out because of an alert. So everything is shut down. They can't get in. I'm calling that your surprise. John uses some previously learned skills, like you were talking
Talking a
about.
whole steel mill factory action piece after this. You're right.
Yeah.
I know.
Chase.
Trust me.
Chase.
Yes. John uses some of his skills, and the T800 clears the parking lot.
Right.
So the execution of the new plan. We're going to walk
the
in there.
police are here. How many of them? All of them, I think.
Yeah. So their plan was get the keys, shut it down, blah, blah, blah. Hightower Surprise, we're locked out. The cops have arrived. Execution of the new plan. Arnold's 0.0 casualties.
Right.
Skills getting the key. Now, bad guys close in, right? Security alert at Cyberdyne. Cops are called. Send everything you got. The T2 shows up at the house, learns of Cyberdyne building. Cops surround Cyberdyne. Cops infiltrate Cyberdyne. So the cops actually get into the building.
Yeah, SWAT. Yeah.
SWAT, yes.
Dean Norris is one of those guys.
Yep. Fall back. Yeah, he's the guy.
He's always a cop.
He's
From
the-
Breaking Bad, yeah? Yeah.
And Lethal Weapon too. But yeah, he's the one that sees Dyson when he's been shot up and he's holding the detonator.
Well,
or
I still
whatever.
like that even Dyson was holding this, knowing, hey, we're gonna destroy this. I don't know how much longer I can hold
Yeah,
this.
no,
and
no.
he tries to give him time to get out.
Right.
Yeah,
I never caught that as a kid. I'm like, he's taking everybody with him.
Right.
Right.
So he's trying to do the right thing, but you guys shot me.
right.
Yes.
Dicks.
So this is bad
Trying
guys
to save you and you shot me.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
And then sorry, when that explodes, when he drops it, it does the exterior shot of the building blowing up.
Yes.
And every single time I'm like, glass? Who gives a shit about glass?
What did we say?
You all
We
said that?
said the same. I said this feels very much like even with the cops surrounding the place. I said this feels very much like Die Hard. And as soon as it blew up, I said glass. Who gives a shit about glass? We need a whole shitload of screen doors. That's what she said.
Well, good. I'm
Absolutely.
glad we're right there. We're right there with each other.
Yeah, but now all I can hear is like John going, "There's a lot of glass out there. A lot of people. Who gives a shit about glass?" You know, it's,
That's right. So the bad guys clearly all is lost. Cops shoot Dyson and prevent the detonation. I'm calling this so if we had a false victory, this is the false defeat, right? The cops have basically stopped this thing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But that's a false defeat
I'm
because
going back with a different all is lost now here in a minute.
Okay,
It's just
okay.
things all over the place.
right. Well, let me tell you the Dark Knight, and then we'll see how you can correct this plate of spaghetti that I've made. The all is lost.
I think it's spaghetti.
The all is lost. Cops shoot Dyson, prevent detonation, false defeat, which has to be an opposite of the midpoint false victory. Dark Night of the Soul. Dyson is dying and he knows it. His dig deep down is dead man switch. I don't know how long I can hold this.
Right.
But he's now a dead man switch. You better get out of here. And he's digging deep down. You know you're going to die, but you're still trying to fulfill the mission. That's a big dig deep down, and if ever.
Right.
So that's what I'm having as the Dark Night of the Soul. Storming the castle. There's this line. Storming the castle. I'll be back. Arnold again. Call back. The keys. Call back. The T1. I'm calling it the T1 Uber. He gets the van or whatever.
He always crashes though. Like in the first one and the second one, he says, "I'll be back," and then he returns crashing through
I didn't
the
catch
doors.
that. That is absolutely true. Now this is a throwaway. I don't know. Okay, Sherry, I had the movie wrong. It's Lost Boys. Okay, so they filmed Lost Boys in this guy's comic shop who actually owned the comic shop, and they put him in the movie. He's a guy way in the distance in the background playing pinball or something.
Yeah.
Who owns the comic book shop that they're filming Lost Boys in. And he should have just stood there and played his pinball as a background character and kept his mouth shut. But he knew they were filming, and he says something. He says a line like tilt. I tilted. He later in interviews, because Grimm, one of the YouTube guys we watch, went to and talked to him and all this kind of stuff. And he says, "I said that so that I would be in the movie, that you would hear me. Now you could say that was me." There's this scene where Arnold is shooting the gas bombs at people and knocking them down, and one cop runs away and he shoots him and he falls down, and the guy says, "Oh God, it hurts." Do you remember this?
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, that was not in script, man.
James Cameron's over there just torturing his extras, and that really hurt.
Yeah, because you're not refilming that scene to get that out of there. Now, maybe you could, I don't know if you could sound it out or
Oh,
not.
they could definitely sound it out.
Yeah.
Yeah, they would edit it out
Yeah.
sound wise. Because I mean, most of Edward Furlong was all voiceover. So
It was
yeah,
oh,
So I have
God,
a
it
di-
hurts.
I just now have a different thought about it. It's funny, but maybe it's there because like he's shooting these guys with fucking canisters like
No,
up close,
it-
right?
no, I'm sure it
maybe
hurt.
it's there so you know he didn't kill that guy. He's talking. He's
Oh,
bitching
yeah, for
about the
sure.
pain.
Well, yeah, but you could see it bounce off, and you see him shoot another guy, and he didn't die, and this guy was of greater distance. He ran away. I think that guy was trying to get in the movie,
He
man.
probably was.
Oh God, it hurts, and it's such a lame line.
It probably does hurt a lot.
Oh God, it hurts. Okay, whatever. I listened to that. And I'm like, oh my.
Well, so to get back to what you were doing, all of your Dark Knight and Dig Deep Down, that was just for Dyson. That wasn't for the entire.
Yeah, it wasn't for
Overall.
John.
Yeah, but he's on the
Terminator
team
or-
now.
Yeah,
But
you can't just switch.
well, I know, but they're having to flee,
Right.
having basically been defeated.
Yeah.
Because but Sarah looks at Dyson and they sort of nod at each other.
My question is this an instance where each character has a Dark Knight, a Dig Deep Down?
It could.
I mean, I know that's not really.
Well,
Yeah.
Sarah
lot of
couldn't
stuff.
kill Dyson. Sarah knows that Dyson has a kid and a wife, and she couldn't kill him. I almost killed a father and his kid. And now she's looking at him, and he's nodding, and she's sensing, okay, this father is about to give up his life for something I drug his ass into.
Right.
This is on me. I think
Yeah,
on
I'm
some
trying to-
level it is a Dark Night for.
Sure. I'm trying to think what John's is because I feel like, because to me, originally, just thinking about this movie, this is what I was going to say a minute ago. My All Is Lost and Dark Knight, so this kind of fits what we're saying. Arnold has his own, when he gets temporarily defeated by the
Sure.
T-1000,
dig deep down.
and he digs down, it has All Is Lost, the mission's not done, and he's fucking wiped out. You
Yes.
think he dies for a second.
Yep.
And then, alternate power or whatever reroutes and
Yeah.
and I know he's a robot, but I feel like when he's pulling the bar out, like he has a look of fucking disgust on his face. Like he's mad about it. Like I
Sure.
just got my ass whooped and I
You're
don't know,
right,
it's-
right. No. I think to James' point, I think you almost
That's
have
his
to have.
then. If they all have their own, that's got to be his. Because then he comes back and saves the day.
Yes.
I
And
need a
and,
vacation.
and John's could be because they separate. Like the team breaks up at the and so John is calling mom as he's being ushered away, and now he thinks he's lost his mom, and yes,
That or the very, very end.
right. Well, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So then I'd say, to your point, Chris, we haven't gotten to the factory yet. The finale. Okay, so you have the break into 3, then then the bad guys, All's Lost, Dark Knight, which leads to the finale. But the finale is a good chunk of the movie, right?
Yeah.
T-1000 on the trail. He gets in a helicopter.
Well, okay, I just thought about this. All right, so if getting Dyson and going to Cyberdyne is like a false victory, right? Because they get there, they're gonna blow it all up and save humanity, and then SWAT shows up, false alarm, T-1000 shows up, so that's all bad guys close in. They're breaking into 3 is get the hell out of there alive with still the chips and stuff. They don't know at this point what they're going to do. They're just trying to get away from the T-1000.
This was a question, and
So that's their breaking into 3, maybe,
initially I thought this was a plot hole because I'm looking at Sherry because I'm analyzing this thing now. Before I didn't care. It was just hey, shiny parts,
Popcorn.
Yeah. But they take the arm and the chip away from a building that they are decimating.
Yeah.
Why? Then they act like they don't know what they're going to do with it. Now, I think that is answered because Arnold on the road says, take the exit.
Yeah.
I think he must know that the steel factory is there and that they can burn this thing up. And maybe
That was always the plan. They just never said it.
didn't tell him.
No, they can't be the plan because John asked. I love where you're going with that, but John asked, will this burn up in there? It can't be the fucking plan. If he asks later on, will this burn up in there?
Yeah, I think.
Yes, John, we had this conversation. You know what
No,
I mean?
but I think the T-800 knows. I don't know that he told them.
Well, I doubt that because they walk in and there's like a vat of molten steel that they look at.
yeah, they
Why don't
should
they
have
just,
dropped
like,
it in right there.
it in, yeah.
Right
Backpack,
there and go,
throw it in.
gotcha, fucker. You know what I mean?
Remember what I said? How they got there? They were going down the road, and he said, "Take this exit." I mean, it was
Yeah.
just
Yeah, so there is all this. Because I was willing to give him a pass that Arnold knew, take the exit because he wants. But
I feel like
But even at the factory,
take
like
the
you
exit.
said,
They
why
barely made it. The truck smashed in all the stuff. I think that was the last minute. Hey, take the exit
that's
now.
what I'm
That'll slow
saying.
his ass down. a
No,
little
that's
bit.
what I'm saying.
Yeah.
that
How
it
many
wasn't
steel
planned.
mills are there in America?
right?
just
I'm not
happened
even
to take
sure.
an
there-
exit.
Technically, there's 4,700.
Yeah.
Well, California's not known as the Rust Belt. Like if you're talking steel, U.S. Steel, Detroit, and all. So I don't even know if there is.
There's clearly, well, there was one until this happened.
Yeah,
Well,
sure.
Apparently,
government covered it up now.
I think I saw in the trivia this was an active area that they filmed in.
Sure.
I don't know where that location is, but that was an actual
No, I'm sure.
foundry building.
Yeah. I don't know if I read this or heard this somewhere.
Yeah, I mean, what if they found a fucking meat factory, instead of a steel mill?
Yeah, what were they going to do with
Can we
this
freeze
arm?
this stuff? Yes. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, so I tend to think.
Well, damn, man. You just punched a big
I know.
hole in
I
this
was a
fucking
little
movie.
disappointed when I started asking those questions. Why are you taking the arm and the chip?
Yeah, because one little line from fucking Schwarzenegger could have solved that.
Sure.
You know, no, the metal will not burn, and you know what I mean? Like, it doesn't get hot enough. We need to find something, you know, a source that's hot or whatever, right?
I'm willing to
a
give
line from him could have saved that.
Well, I'm willing to give him a pass on the building. Okay, you're going to blow this building up. That's for all the computers and papers. Yes, that's going to definitely be destroyed. We can't guarantee.
Actually, we know it won't burn from the first one because they blew his ass up and he came back out. His skeleton guy.
yes.
So,
So-
you know it won't burn.
so we
Not
can't-
from a bomb like that.
We can't risk that the
Yeah,
arm
yeah.
and chip are going to be destroyed in this building,
Yeah.
and they don't find it in the rubble. I'm willing to
They
give
were
him
they were on a mission to destroy it.
Yes,
they
they-
didn't know they could melt it. They didn't know that there was a foundry. They were just looking to destroy it.
Yes,
Yeah.
we
And
got to
then
get
all the
this away.
chaos. They didn't have a plan on, you know.
We got to get this away from Cyberdyne.
Yeah, now fucking T-1000 after us, we got to run.
Well, because it was in John's backpack.
Yes.
Yeah.
And he was already exiting.
Yes,
the
no, they
building.
were taking it away to
Yeah.
get it out of the hands of Cyberdyne, but I don't think they had a plan on how they.
How to
at some
destroy
point,
it.
when the dust settles, they'd be like, "Well, how do we get rid of this thing?"
Right.
And then so I'm willing to give them a pass on that.
Yeah.
But they didn't have a clue that
They just lucked out with the steel mill because
Yes.
fate, you know?
And then, like to your point, why didn't they just chuck it in there when they did?
That was James's point. When you
James's
first
point.
arrived,
Yeah.
instead of the badass hasta la vista scene, it should have been hasta la vista, baby,
Yeah,
dropping
yeah.
it into the fucking.
Let's go to Chili's. That's
right.
potato
Just
skin.
Schwarzenegger doing a cannonball, like grabbing the backpack and just dipping himself
Yeah,
in.
so-
Okay, film, roll credits. It's
I
over.
think we can smooth it over, but there is some squishiness there.
That's funny shit.
Yeah.
I see that in my head now. Cannonball, and he goes in there, and then fucking T-1000 there, and they're, wait, what just happened? You know?
Now I have no purpose. It was my purpose.
And how it should have ended. That's what we
Right.
just did there.
So all this extended set piece, I call it road rage. You know, the battle on the highway. I really like Arnold marching up to the windshield of that.
Oh, I love that.
that's very cool.
that eat ledge.
Yes.
Just force feeding him.
He's trying to shoot him with the grenade launcher or whatever,
Yeah.
and then he rams him to him, and the fucking thing ends up in the last bullet is in the back of the bed of the
Yeah.
truck. So then he grabs the fucking
Here, drive.
M16 is just sitting there, drive, and then
Force feeds him.
unloads his ass right,
I
right
love
there
that,
in
yeah.
his face. Yes,
Right.
love that scene as a kid and love it now.
Oh, I still love it.
And then he turns the wheel and crashes the truck.
Yes.
Yeah.
T1 gets a new ride. This is the maximum velocity of this vehicle.
Right, I could get out and run faster than this.
That's right. Ice road truckers, I call it the truck with the CO2 or whatever in it. Now, this was what I was going to say. Roger Siskel and Ebert, they used to do movies. Well, Siskel had a name for the place they go. He calls it your spark factory. A factory that seems to have no purpose except to make sparks. And that's essentially this. You know, yes, it says steel, but it's a spark factory, as Siskel would say.
Cool. That's a good. That's a good. Term.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
true. One thing I noticed just during this chase, when he's chasing with the helicopter, right? And they're in the SWAT van at this point, before they get into the 18-wheeler in the little bullshit truck.
Yeah.
They pass the 18-wheeler.
Do they? Yeah.
Yeah, they do, because he honks at them and stuff. Like the one carrying the not nitroglycerin, the
CO2 or what was it, Sherry? I think it
liquid
was
nitrogen. Yeah, the
Liquid
liquid
nitrogen,
nitrogen. Yeah,
yeah.
they passed that truck. I'd never noticed it again. One of those things you've seen this thing 1,000 times,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
they passed it.
Oh, I chuckled out loud when they're in the SWAT van and he just hits the brakes and the helicopter crashes.
And you don't catch right before the smash, when he's shooting at Sarah. He's shooting with two hands and driving with a third. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't notice that.
It's real quick. You can
Well,
see
you can
it
do that
more
'cause
in the
he's
delete.
got metal, right?
He's got four hands.
Four,
The
yeah,
whole
you're right.
apparatus is four hands. Two are controlling the
steering and
helicopter.
one and two are shooting.
Yeah.
I did not.
Yeah.
I'd have to. go back and
It's
look at
it's
that.
real quick edit, and they probably cost him millions of dollars.
Right.
You can see more in the director's cut or whatever.
Okay.
It's very clear what's going on there. You're right, James. It is four. But
And
yeah.
it's Stan Winston, the
Yes.
the same guy that did The Thing and
Yeah, it-
just all the other stuff.
Yeah,
Stan
no.
Winston's great.
No,
But
absolutely.
again, like, and he could always, he outmatched Arnold, pretty easily. But I just thought about something now. Like, if you can generate extra hands, why didn't he, like, go four hands on Arnold and, like, beat him up with four hands?
Well,
Sure.
yeah.
'Cause we don't have the budget for that, Jim. Okay, got it. Let's just do, like, a little
That
foot
kind of
thing
movie,
then.
kid.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly.
Yeah. So he freezes. He gets shattered.
Says the cool line, the payoff.
Yes. Disassembling the team. Clash of the Terminator Titans. Again, another fight. The team disassembled again. Sarah gets pinned down. Doesn't the whole point where the Terminator is torturing her, and
there's lots of reversals in there, which are great. I mean, there's lots of reversals throughout the whole movie, but
Yes.
they freeze him, and like when he comes out of after the truck has crashed and he's walking, like it's very reminiscent of Arnold coming out of the truck that's on fire in the first one.
Yes.
And then he freezes, Oslo Vista goes into a bunch of pieces, and then the pieces fucking start going like, God damn, this dude's
Oh no, yes and no's
This
all the
guy's
time.
coming back, you know?
Very, very cool.
let's go now.
Arnold gets rammed through the back and it goes out. Alternate power. The T2 assumes. Does he assume Sarah?
Yeah.
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 It's played by her twin sister.
Yeah.
Yes.
Send me with the fencing.
Yes. Then Sarah does her thing, and then Arnold is able to get him into the liquid steel, right? T2 is cooked.
Yeah, she had one more shot, then she would have been golden. you know.
Yes.
Yeah, but she runs
Right.
out. And then he does the, finger, no kind of thing.
Right. I have reunited, and it feels so lousy. So all the team is together, but Arnold has to go, and John doesn't want him to. All three have undergone the change, affecting each other, because the Terminator at this point seems that he has grown close to, through his learning, close to John. John is very emotional about losing the Terminator. Sarah has embraced her son and maybe has hope for the future now.
Well, there's three instances about tears. Like when John and when in the car, they just saved Sarah from the psych ward.
Yeah.
And they're arguing or whatever. And Terminator looks at John in the rearview mirror and says, "What's wrong with your eyes?"
Oh, yeah.
Nothing.
Yeah.
And then later on, they talk about the crying or whatever and explain it, and pain causes it. No, so they talk about it.
Yeah.
And the payoff here is, I now know why you cry, but it's something I can never do.
It almost reminded me of like an E.T. moment where E.T. points at Elliot's heart.
Be right here, yeah.
Ow. Or he points to his own heart. Ow.
Yeah, right.
It gets me every time. E.T. make me cry too. But anyway.
Damn it, Phil. Now I'm seeing Arnold go, "I will be right here." And then,
No, but this is I was still on board with the whole scene, man.
when John starts going, "I order you not to go. I order you not to go." Yeah, it's.
No, it's.
I remember as a kid, I was pissed and upset. I'm like, "You can't do that to. He's the hero. You can't do that." I mean, I get it now as an adult, right? And it's
That's
a good
why it
story
works
choice,
so
but
well for us at that
kids,
age
we're
group.
John going, "What the fuck?"
Yeah. We love this guy.
Yeah.
No,
We had our own Terminator. Yeah.
Right. The unknown future, closing image, facing it with a sense of hope. Maybe we can learn the value of human life. And I have basically, like I said before, from no fate to no fate, but what we make it, with the shot of the road, meaning the future is uncertain. We're on a new road here or whatever. That's my closing image. All three have grown, I think, and anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a fantastic movie. I think going back to what you were saying, that the soundtrack sounding more uplifting,
More heroic.
Yeah, more heroic when he goes down.
Yeah, it's even playing. I had a note about that. Thank you for It plays the theme.
Yeah.
Which was like the bad guy theme in the first one. It plays the theme as he's lowering himself down.
Yeah.
Oh, that reminded me of another note. It's just interesting when we first see him.
Yeah.
He's kneeling and he rises. And the last thing is he's descending.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, that's good. Good bookend of drama.
Yeah. Just it closed out so nicely.
I think this is one of the greatest action movies ever. I think it's also in a lot of ways, it's very intelligently written. I think there's maybe some squishy parts, but you'd be hard pressed to find a movie that's pristine in its story logic. But even so, if you analyze it, but if you're in for the popcorn, like I've never paused or had a moment's thought about anything in this movie up till this time when we're sort of analyzing it.
I watched this movie a few times. And watching it the first time with a critical eye, I was like, oh man, I got to watch this again, because that's when I caught, we didn't know that with Schwarzenegger stepping out of the elevator, Sarah Connor, I never realized she didn't know the good or the bad. And it made so much more sense. It was even more enjoyable the more I watched it with a critical eye. So great popcorn movie, great, well-written movie.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Are we ready to do our past consider?
Yeah.
That little snippet is called The Showdown. I thought, well, that's appropriate. Anyway.
Like it.
It reminded me of the good, bad.
Absolutely.
We should all be shifting eyes at each other.
That's what I'm saying. We're still, past, consider, recommend. Absolutely. The way we've talked about this, I recommend this movie is a go-to, and has never failed from the moment it was made. It was as good today as it was when I first saw it. I love it. I recommend this as an action movie, as an Arnold movie, as just a good story. I think it's 2.5 hours. I was never bored, never felt like I was watching a 2.5 hour movie.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. It's a great movie. Pass. Yes, for sure. No, not pass. Pass this movie off. No, strongly recommend this
Strongly
movie.
recommend.
And this movie, even if you haven't seen the first one, still stands on its own.
I think you're given enough information where it's a standalone. I really love Terminator.
that'd be
though.
interesting.
Terminator is a good movie.
Same here. I love the first one, but yeah, that'd be interesting to like watch the second one first and then go back and watch the first one.
Because I think you might
You know
lose.
what I mean? If you haven't seen them, I mean, like watch the second one first, like you're saying. That'd be-
I think you might lose some
Wish
of
I could
the.
like wipe my memories. I could do that. Just
I
see
think
how
that's
how
what
it
I
works.
did because I was so young and saw Terminator 2 first. I think
Yeah.
I have no recollection of watching Terminator
but
before that.
would you get the sense of the menace of the Terminator if you hadn't seen the first one? You know what I'm saying?
You would
No,
lose that. Yeah.
not in the second one, but in the watching the
If you
original.
hadn't seen the first one, would you think, what is she afraid of?
Yeah, right. You wouldn't get it all.
Yeah, well, watching the original, I was like, Schwarzenegger's the bad guy, and this is like a horror movie.
Yeah.
like,
Yeah, it's
that's
very
what I
much.
thought.
Yeah, it plays like a horror movie.
Yeah.
Where this is
And-
more action.
Yeah, they're two totally different
Well,
themed feeling movie.
somebody was saying that about because I was looking at Aliens, and somebody had made the remark, well, Alien is a horror movie and Aliens is an action movie. Well, Cameron, he didn't have anything to do with Alien, right? No,
Right.
Correct.
but even with the Terminators, he went from what arguably is a horror movie,
Yeah.
to more of a mainline action movie. Same with Aliens. I think Aliens is more of an action than a horror. Even though when I first saw it, scared the shit out of me.
Right.
Anyway.
Now he's making horrific movies.
Wow. There you go.
No, that's obviously 100% recommend for me on this. I think it's one of the greatest, action movies ever made.
Yes.
And yeah, I'll take, even though we talked about them maybe not having a plan on how they were going to destroy the arm and stuff, I'll take that over fluorescent Flana and fucking
Sure.
MacGuffin called unobtainium any day of the week.
Well, I think in terms of the arm, they had every intention of destroying it. They knew Skynet couldn't have it. They couldn't risk the explosion. So they were going to destroy it when the dust settled.
Right.
They happened along, happy coincidence, into this factory, which I think story logic is not something you can balk at. It. That's fine.
Again, it holds up more than fucking unobtainium.
It's movie magic. It's always fun.
So yeah. Sherry?
Oh yes, I recommend. Even though you said it before, I do not like time travel, and I try to block that out of this whole
Yeah.
this movie. Try to not think about that. You have to, of course, in the first one when his father comes back. But anyway, it is one of the best action movies I think I've ever seen.
Oh yeah, no. Absolutely.
I do love it. And one reason I do like it better than the first one is because I like that Arnold is the good guy.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. Arnold was very young in the first one, even. I mean,
Yeah.
and probably had not had a lot of speaking parts in prior movies. Like,
Not a ton.
Conan, maybe?
yeah.
He spoke.
Not a lot.
He speaks very good English.
No, right. But I think maybe even at that point, they were like this Austrian.
His name was hard to sell.
Sure.
Yeah.
He was in the scavenger hunt for a brief second.
That's a movie.
Yeah, it was in
It's a decent movie, but it's
Hercules Comes to New York, I think was his
oh my
first
God.
one or
Yeah,
something like
geez.
that.
All right.
But yeah.
Yes, I like
This is
movie.
Terminator 2 was everybody hitting their stride all at the right
This
time.
everybody at their prime, man. Arnold never looked cooler than he does in this movie, man. I'm kidding. All right, we good?
Yeah.
All right, I think we are done, and we are out.
He may not have killed anyone, but he sure did cause a lot of property damage.
Yeah. No, my God.
Yeah.
I think this series has gone off the rails on more than one occasion.
You're like, oh, happy life, cars and everything. And then just death and destruction.
No, right.
It's like,
I just remember being so scared at that moment.
It's just a very slick scene. I love this. There is a little bit of a discrepancy in the story logic here.
In his audition, did he just run?
I like how tight that seed was.
Your foster parents are dead. Can't go around killing people. Why?
Yeah, well,
So he's trying to do the right thing, but you guys shot me.
Right.
yes.
Dicks.
Because she says if a machine can learn
The value of human life.
the value of
Maybe
human
we
life,
can too.
Maybe we
Yeah.
can too. So